Good evening from Kuala Lumpur. Yes, we are back from Singapore and we are covering the amazing MECHA Sci-Fi Diorama Competition 2024. Yes, it is quite a mouthful, but it is a very unique competition and I'm glad myself and Big Pete get to cover this amazing competition. Now, this competition is unique because it does not focuses Gundam as a main team, but the overall team is actually mecha, anything on sci-fi and mecha/mobile suit. The evaluation criteria from the judges will be interesting because it's focusing on painting, weathering, assembly and construction, presentation, and most importantly, to me at least, that is story. We actually saw quite a lot of new, unique and original entries into this competition, and it's actually quite refreshing to me and BP because we have covered so many Gundam/Gunpla team competition that you kind of get bored and you want to see something a little bit different. So this time around, the guys at MECHA Sci-Fi Diorama Competition, they've actually allowed all sort of resin, third-party kits, decals, and also 3D printing. They allow it, but no, not more than 20% of the overall kit, that it destroys the overall idea and conception of what the builder is trying to showcase. One key thing that myself and Big Pete immediately saw at the competition was how well the entries are built overall in terms of presentation. The diorama, wow, we were all just blown away by the diorama of sand, the greeneries, the forest, the weathering. That is something that we don't typically see in GBWC. And then if you guys have been following my channel for the longest time, you will know that I've been ranting on and on like a broken record to tell all the entry builders into competition, please put a base for your mobile. So give it a little bit of story, give it some diorama, weathering effect, give it a story of a building and whatnot, just to make it interesting rather than just submitting a standalone mobile suit. And I think all the entries that we've seen at the MECHA Sci-Fi Diorama has pretty much adhered to that high standard. Every single entry we see here, there's a very nice base, very nice weathering, and the overall landscape is splashed with greeneries and also damaged buildings, workshops, and whatnot. Very, very cool. I think between myself and BP, we spent a lot of time, going through all the entries, deciding how to film, and that was what really excited us. So we are quite glad that we were able to cover this, and a big thank you again to the guys from Mod Kit Builders for inviting us to cover this particular event. This event is held at Black Base Hobby Store, and they are doing this in conjunction with Samol and also NECA Gunpla. So if you want to go to this competition, which is ending tomorrow, 28th January, do check it out. I'll put a link down in the comment section below of where the address of the store is for you to check out. There were a few surprises at this particular competition, and one of it was actually seeing 86, from the anime 86 actual entries from that particular show being entered for this competition. And I have to say, I was blown away by how good the entire presentation, the diorama, the landscape, replicating the ending of the show in this particular competition. Very well built, and there was also a very nice LED effect that's being entered into the particular kit too as well. And that is something that you don't really see at GBWC. Okay, one other entry that was quite surprising is the brand new Sinduality Noir entry as well. This particular kit series, to be very frank, no knock to the builder, but for me, I am still trying very hard to get used to the overall design of this particular series, right? The mechs in this series, they all have very big backpacks, very big torsos, but very small arms and legs, and also feet as well. So that's something that I'm still not getting very used to for this particular series. But overall, I think the entry with the gardens and the flowers looks pretty awesome indeed. Okay, as what we mentioned earlier, right? Between myself and Repeat, we were really blown away by how well all the overall diorama has been showcased by most of the builders here. While there aren't a lot of entries compared to your typical GBWCs, where you see 200 to 300 entries, there's less than 40 entries in this particular competition. Very cool. I would say that we actually had a lot of fun looking through every single angle, but unfortunately, one downside to this competition is that the lighting at the shop was a little bit dim, so some of the photos and videos might appear as overexposed and also underexposed. So please apologize for those poor footage that you're gonna be seeing here. But overall, I think we also got a real kick of seeing some of the mix and match from the videos. Like for example, this particular entry is a mix of Sin Duality Noah and also the Pacific Rim Jaeger as well. So both as a tag team in a same uniform colored. Quite interesting. There are also some mechs that I'm not very familiar with, such as this particular entry, desert base, all brown, all nicely weathered. Not too sure which kit this is actually from. Doesn't seem like it's from Machina Krieger, so not too sure where this entry is from. But overall, looks pretty cool with a Desert Storm splash-based theme. While this is not a Gundam-based focus competition, there were actually quite a few Gunpla entries that is quite refreshing, brand new, not rehashed from GBWC, because that is one of the key focus and criteria by the competition organizers. It has to be something new, not rehashed from GBWC, so we get to see a lot of new original entries at this competition. But there were one particular entry that between myself and Pete, when we saw it, we were like scratching our heads, what the hell is this entry all about? And that entry is this particular diorama of Nobita, touching a very greasy Banshee together with Doraemon as well. So I'm not too sure what this particular entry is all about, but definitely between myself and BP, we had a good chuckle. The other funny entry is this particular GM, riding on his beam rifle, sniper rifle, whatever you want to call it, is blasting off based on the propulsion and explosion. So this particular entry is called, Blast Off, See Ya, Adios. Very cool. We had a nice fun and chuckle looking at this entry, and the overall shading looks pretty good as well. There was one entry that I was not really expecting to see, just like the 86, and that is a Warhammer 40,000 entry. Very blown off away by the overall build quality, the overall paint job, the weathering looks pretty spot on, but the main attraction actually lies at the bottom of this particular mecha. There's a very nice trench built with a very nice story behind it, where all the soldiers are preparing for battle, covering for cover as well. So very nice World War II/team trench built with some blood splatter everywhere as well. Very cool entry for a Warhammer, which I was not expecting to see in this mecha competition, to be very frank. Now, a little bit of sidetrack, let's talk about the Solomon Versailles, right? That is one video that I think gotten a lot of views. A lot of people asking, where can I actually buy that particular kit? Well, if you're based in America, unfortunately, I cannot help you because I'm not too sure who is actually getting that allocation in the United States. But for the rest of us in Southeast Asia and Asia as well, the first round of pre-orders have actually already all sold out. I actually missed the first round pre-orders because it went through very quickly. A lot of the resellers, got all their slots taken up fairly quickly as well once the video went out. But the second round of pre-order is open, and unfortunately, here's the bad news, right? The price has actually increased a little bit compared to the first round of pre-orders, because I think the demand is just way too high and everyone is trying to get allocation for the Solomon Versailles. The other bad news is that Bandai recently, late this week, Thursday or Friday, they actually issued a press release noticing on the copyright infringement for their IP in China. So as what we know so far, right, Bandai has gotten a mixed results whenever they try to pursue copyright infringement, enforcement in China. So they had some luck past few years. They managed to close down Daban, Dragon Momoko as well. But yeah, the last few years has not been good for them. So we shall see what happens. But given the high interest that we've seen on social media and also on our Facebook page as well and on our YouTube channel, everyone was just blown away by how well the Solomon Versailles is built. The entire gimmicks all built into that particular kit really doesn't make it feel like a master grade kit, but more like a master grade extreme. That's what we come to expect from Bandai, but let's see what Bandai pulls out from their rabbit hat this year, right? In 2024, if you're going to get a new MGEX, will it be better than the Solomon Versailles as what we're seeing so far? Only time will tell. The other side note that I want to talk about is, of course, now being January 2024, the start of the new year. For those of you who are still buying tons and tons of Plamo/Gunpla kits as well, please start building your kits. Yes, I am also guilty of that. In fact, today I just bought the Figura Standard Kamen Rider Ghost and also Kamen Rider Blade. And I'm sure all of you are thinking, why the hell would I buy the Kamen Rider Ghost, right? That kit has horrendous amount of stickers, which unfortunately can't be replicated with painting. You really have to find a way to replicate the special effects on the overall body, but I think I really like the translucent plastic parts that's been included for that particular kit. Now, one of the complaints that I've heard by most builders who wanted to actually apply and enter into this competition was that unfortunately they did not have enough time. This is actually quite a good problem to have, I suppose, because in 2024 there's actually quite a lot of competition happening in this part of the world. First, of course, is the MECHA Sci-Fi Diorama Competition. There's also a Malcolm event that's happening in June, and also Tetsujin in Singapore in June as well, and also, of course, the big GBWC competition happening sometime in Q3 or Q4, with last year being a very early GBWC for Malaysia happening in September. We will have to see whether it's going to be the same time as well, where everyone is going to rush to submit a original entry for all this competition. And I think this is one of the biggest challenge for most Plamo builders, right? Whenever they want to enter into a new competition, every single competition will require you to enter a brand new kit that has not been entered into any other competition itself before. So as a builder, man, there's only so much time you have to come up with an amazing idea, then to proceed to build not only the kit, but also the entire diorama to house your brilliant, amazing idea. So hopefully next year in 2025, we will have more time heads up to prepare for this particular competition. You know, I will actually be quite keen to enter into this competition myself, just for fun. Just see how it goes. And I will actually be entering into GBWC 2024 this year. So let's see how that actually goes as well. One good thing about this competition is that it is happening at Black Base Hobby Store. So while you're browsing, after you look through all the entries as well, you actually have a chance to buy their stash. There's actually quite a lot of Gunpla kits that you can actually browse and buy. So that is one big bonus. One of the other comments I've been hearing from most of our followers is that, you know, they also do think that most Plamo/hobby store should run their own competition. I think just relying on GBWC alone is not enough, because as we know, GBWC only happens once a year, and when you do go to GBWC, you are bombarded by over 200 to 300 entries. And that is something that I actually kind of wish Bandai as a company would actually clamp down on very bare basic out of the box build with just simple panel lining to help us to really give the chance to, you know, builders with actual skills to enter into the competition and not take up too much space, because while there are over 300 entries, there were quite a lot of good entries that were disqualified before even reaching the show floor. So that is one of the unfortunate part of GBWC, which we hope Bandai will rectify in 2024. Now, one cool thing about Mecha SciFi Diorama Competition also is the prizes. The prizes, wow, the trophy are not your typical run-of-the-mill plastic acrylic trophies that we see from Sports Day, but this is the actual trophy. The 3 trophies are actually custom-made for the top 3 winners, in addition to the prizes that comes along with for the competition as well. So I think this is something that's quite unique. So every year the trophy will look different, and also something that no one else has. Very, very cool. I actually hope yeah, wish I had the skill sets to win one of these trophies. Now, let me share with you who are my top picks for this particular competition to win. Let's talk about the honorable mentions, right? Because some of these entries really look very good, but they do not meet the criteria of Mecha. One of it is this particular entry where, wow, the story of this guy actually shooting his way into the restaurant looks just really cool. Very, very lovely. The 286 entry as well blew me away with the entire landscape LED, the weathering on the mobile armor as well. They all look very cool, but I don't think 86 is able to win this particular competition, unfortunately. The GM also blew me away with how well it is built, painted, very clean. The LED effects is just really icing on the cake. But unfortunately, there's no real story behind it, so I think it is going to be a little bit tricky for that particular entry to win. Same goes for this particular entry from Macross. Man, hiding behind the bushes, ready to fire, but it just seemed a little bit too simple. Gundam Caliban or Caliban Gundam is probably going to be in the top 3. Very well built, very clean. The LED effects is definitely, icing on the cake. But I think this overall story from Caliban definitely will make it place in the top 3. My top 2 will be this particular entry called The Final Visit, where this girl is visiting a mecha bear in his workshop, which is something that you don't really see every day. So I was really caught by surprise by how well that particular entry is. And finally is this big gigantic entry of this particular mobile suit mecha fighting motorized mecha animal, I have to say. It looks like Horizon Forbidden Horizon Zero Dawn, sorry. So that is basically my top 3 pick for winning this particular competition. So if you want to find out more, well, do follow Mod Kit Builders, the organizers for this particular competition, and let's see who will win tomorrow. But till then, hey, if you're new to the channel and you want to see more content like this, you know what to do. Give us a like, don't be stingy, and for the rest of you, I'll see you down in the comment section below.